Yo, what's up guys? Today we're gonna talk about the silent Anabasis. I have upgraded my spreadsheet. We got silent Anabasis among all other builds. And I also include the accessories. We got all the relevant weapons and other builds. I will provide the link for this spreadsheet in the description. To make things short, I'm not gonna read the description. Instead, I'm gonna explain. People really complicated this weapon for PvP. There are two types of damage. The silent Anabasis do have frost vortex. One is gonna be frost vortex. This will do 50% of your PSI as a frost, and the frost cannot crit, weak spot, and the damage will not decay with the distance. So the range wouldn't matter. For example, I'm gonna take this AK and shoot once. This is frost vortex damage, but the silent Anabasis will spawn a crystal like this. When you shoot it, it's gonna do ice damage to the enemy. So that's two type of damage. But the special thing about this weapon for PvP is we get ice crystal for each 1.5 second. So think of this as like a Jaws. In Jaws we get a stagger, in this we get ice crystal. That's why this weapon is better than the AK or the icy rain, because this one is special and the ice crystal are really fun to play with. So we just gonna focus on the ice crystal. I think that's what make this weapon better. Just keep in mind we are focusing on the ice crystal, not the frost elemental damage. And for the armor pieces, we are going with the snow camo gloves. This is gonna do additional 4 crystal damage to the enemy. And then we are going with 3 Savior or 3 Stormweaver with one piece Shelter and 1 piece Tide. This is gonna give you status reduction, this is gonna give you weapon damage reduction, and the Savior gonna give you more healing. And for the weapon, we are going with the Trio Catalyst. This is gonna give you Frost Vortex damage 10% and the Frost Conduct, which is gonna be the Ice Crystal. And for the armor mods, for the helm, we are going with the Deviation Expert. This is gonna give you more status damage and the fire rate. And for the top, we are either going with the Endurance Shield or the Resist Advantage. If you use Savior, go with the Endurance Shield. If you use Stormweaver, go with Resist Advantage. And for the bottom, we are going with the Life Force. And for the shoes, we are going with the Covered Advance for open PvP. This is gonna give you 20% status damage. And for the gloves, we are going with the Elemental Overload because we are getting status damage from the Covered Advance and the Deviation Expert. And for the mass mod, we are going with the Frost Conduct. This will give you 10% more damage if the enemy have the frost vortex stats. So we just gonna do frost vortex damage anyways with this weapon. So this is good either way. And for the substat, you only have to focus on the status damage and the frost elemental damage. And also you can get 2 mods in the mass and the weapon mod, which gonna give you frost vortex damage. This is a different multiplier, so you will do more damage compared to a regular talent mod. And just balance the status damage and the frost elemental damage and the frost vortex damage and the frost damage. When you balance those 4 substats, you will do more damage, and then focus on the weapon damage reduction and the status reduction. And for the calibration, we are going with the rapid shot style dual elemental. This is gonna give you fire rate and reloading speed. The attack doesn't matter because we don't rely on the base damage. And for the accessories, we are focusing on the you need accuracy to hit more ice crystal. So the large break gonna give you a lot of accuracy. And for the optic, we are going with the compact reflex sight. This is gonna give you stability. And for the tactics, we are going with the tactical laser sight. This is gonna give you accuracy. And for the magazine, we are going with the extended mag. This is gonna give you more mag capacity. And for the ammo, go with the golden AP ammo. This is gonna give you frost damage and the PSI intensity. And if you can't craft the golden ammo, go with the rifle AP ammo. Get maximum PSI intensity as you can. And for the secondary, go with the bingo. Reason for the bingo is you can swap the weapon and shoot. Then the enemy will be marked. Then you can swap to the M4 and you will do 8% more damage. If you have vulnerability amplifier, then you will do 16% more damage. The bingo gonna help to do more damage as a secondary. And for the foot buff, we are going with the safety sandwich, and we can go for the starter to weave. And for the drink, we are going with the iced tea, and we can use whimsical drink. This is gonna give you more status damage. And for the cradle, we are going with the anti-void, and we are going with the tactical combo, status enhancement, deviation, energy defense. When you summon the deviant, you're gonna get a shield above your HP bar. This is gonna give you 10% weapon damage reduction and status damage reduction. Then we are using elemental sense, and then we are using extreme freezing. And if you use the bingo, you can go with the anti-pace. This is gonna give you 15% damage to the bingo, and you can have the bounty. That's it for the today video guys. Thanks for watching and peace out.